all the families who were mishtatev in this event. I can tell you that doing a Sheva Bracha this way is not easy, and we have great advice to everybody who helped and participated. There are those who were not here and still contributed, and there are those here who probably didn't contribute, but I'm going to just include you and say thank you. At least you're here, and I can tell the conversation is fantastic. So, Ben and Reina, and I don't give stock speeches. I have people in mind very much when I write, and I'm speaking to you. You've had a whirlwind engagement and a beautiful wedding and a few Sheva Brachos under your belt. Your family's probably, at least your face is probably hurt from smiling at least a little bit. And marriage, wow, really, marriage is something. Two people choose each other and step off a cliff face together into the great unknown. That really is what it is. Not a single one, I guarantee you, not a single one of the long married people in this room could have, when they first stood under the chuppah, predicted that they would be in life where they are right now. Things are only clear in the rearview mirror. You literally hold hands, step off that cliff, and you don't know what's going to be. Nevertheless, this is a grand opportunity. For a yid, there are two paths to greatness that are available to most people. You can be an incredible Eved Hashem, and you can be a partner in an incredible marriage. Those are two things. And they're very important things. Everything else you do in life is really minutia by comparison. And indeed, as we know, marriage is the necessary precondition. I beat this drum. My wife told me to take it out of the speech, but I tell you, it's so important. Marriage is a necessary precondition for a great relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, which is why the Kohen Gadol always had to be married. Unless and until you can relate to someone who is very different to yourself, and I guarantee you, every man and every woman is different from each other, then you have no chance learning how to properly relate to Kadosh Baruch Hu. So being in Eved Hashem and creating a great marriage are really parallel goals. They can be, you could do one or the other, but they're really parallel. The problem is that most people are not that great at relating to Hashem, and most marriages, I'm sad to say, are not amazing success stories either. I saw a horrible stat earlier today that 47% of people married in America do not divorce because they're waiting for the children to leave them. It's pretty awful. Marriage is hard. Hard in ways that are almost impossible to explain or communicate, in no small part because each person is unique, and so too is each marriage. But there are some common elements to a wonderful and truly wonderful and wondrous marriage, and they are found in the Chumash, which is my source for everything. First of all, there's no greater calling than to listen and to consider. As Rabbi Sachs points out, Shomea, not seeing but hearing, is the central mitzvah of Yiddishkeit. And then to act on what we come to understand. And this was the godless, the greatness of Abraham and Yitzchak and Yaakov and Moshe Rabbeinu. They each heard God. That's what it is. It's being able to be sensitive to hear. And they chose to take that input, unlike Bilam, for example. They chose to take that input to grow and change. I will contend that none of those great men was necessarily genetically or intellectually or emotionally superior to anyone else in the world. They weren't born that way. What made them so amazing is that they listened, and then they applied themselves to growing their relationships, reaching ever higher heights in their kesher to Hashem. A good marriage demands that you learn to see the world through your spouse's eyes. I guarantee you, from newlyweds to the longest married people in this room, this is not easy to do. Always find a way to see the good and be grateful for it. I know this is something I've heard in the past from both of you. I've heard beautiful words of Akar Sato. I heard it from Ben just this past Shabbos when he gave up to give a speech, and his speech was basically a litany of all the thanks to his parents and to Hashem and to so many people who helped him along the way. Gratitude for others is not just deeply embedded in the Chumash, it's also a key part of Meshachkeit, and you have that. Never stop investing in each other. There's no limit to what can be achieved as long as you always build the other person up in every way you can. Don't keep score, don't trade, don't bargain. The word for give in the Chumash is natan. It's a simple three-letter palindrome. You read it forward, natan. You read it backward, natan. Teaching, giving is reciprocal. In pure form, the first giving in the Chumash is after the flood, when Hashem tells Noah, this is the sign that I give as the bris between me and you and every living creature. A covenant, a mutual agreement, is the first act of conscious reciprocity in the Chumash. So it means that Hashem is also a beneficiary of the relationship he has with mankind. And the longest single word palindrome in the Chumash reinforces this point. V'nasanu appears 14 times in the text. Again, it's the same word forward and backward, because when you give, you receive in turn. The greatest way in which one can receive satisfaction and fulfillment in life is through giving of oneself to others. Every appearance, all the 14 appearances of this word in the Chumash, contains the element of mutual gain, of co-investment between each party. Investing in each other is a way, after all, to build, support, and develop relationships. I recommend it highly. Now, investment requires dogged persistence and the opportunity to speak with Ben's delightful mother at the Shabbos Kala. Like all mothers of great children, she is rightly proud of the young man she has invested her heart and soul into. And with only a little encouragement, she told me all kinds of fascinating details about Ben's childhood. The most pertinent is that Ben, despite his movie star looks, scintillating wit, and easy grace, did not come by his accomplishments by accident. Had Ben gone with the flow, given in to the way he was born, his DNA, his weaknesses and challenges, then we would not be here tonight. Ben did not do that. Ben's is a story of perseverance. I'll spare you any potentially embarrassing details, but I will share one stellar achievement. I understand that Ben was selected as the single soldier of excellence for all of Tzah's northern region.
Wow.
That's not chopped liver, folks. That took inspired dedication, hard work, and focus. When we were working on the Sheva Brachos tonight, my wife said to one of her friends, she said, look, she says, I don't live in Israel. I can't do laundry for the Chayalim. I can't do this for the Chayalim. I can't do that. But, she says, I can do a beautiful Sheva Bracha for one Chayil, and that will count. It takes incredible effort to do something so well that it looks easy. Michael Jordan did it. Some great dancers did it. Ben is a legitimate hero, someone who's put himself on the line for the sake of all of Klal Yisrael, and we do honor him for it, as you will clap. But all of that will actually pale into insignificance next to the marriage that Ben and Reina can build together. No pressure. Marriage requires very much the same tools that Balei Tshuva have deployed. The ability to shomea, to listen. And then having properly heard the kol dmama daka, the still small voice, change yourself when your soul yearns for a connection to Hashem. Because a marriage is the greatest challenge of all. I submit that having a truly amazing marriage is just as much work as anything else Ben and Reina have achieved in their lives. This is not because marriage requires one to run faster or farther, or to show courage under fire, although sometimes that could help. It's because marriage requires us to do the most uncomfortable and challenging work of all, to find a way to create something truly beautiful with another person. There's a corollary here, of course, and a warning. Everything we do comes with an opportunity cost. Everything we do means that we cannot do something else instead. If you marry one person, at least for traditionalists like me, you're not marrying anybody else. If you spend time to do one mitzvah, you cannot spend that same time doing a different mitzvah. You have to make a choice. And this applies to marriage. If you truly invest in each other, if you follow the commandment to cleave to your spouse, then it comes at the cost of other relationships. It must. It's unavoidable. You cannot simultaneously be the world's best spouse and the world's best friend to somebody else. Which means there's another shift here as well. Both Ben and Reina have shown an admirable ability to consult others, to listen, to learn from others. But with marriage, this needs to be adjusted, and I'm going to get very unpolitically correct here. Because your friend circle now changes. You must cleave to each other, which means withdrawing from other people. Marriages are only as good as the work that's poured into them. As spiritually beautiful a couple as we see before us, as obviously amazing as they are together, the fact remains that marriages are not made at the wedding, or even the Sheva Brachos. Marriages are made over the years and decades, and they are the product of mutual investment and dedication. Having an amazing marriage is as hard a thing as anyone has ever done. And we know this because they are indeed quite rare. We live in a world today that stands in opposition to privacy of all kinds. Pride. Pride in what? When Bilam says, Matovu alecha, he is praising the discretion of the Jewish home, the modesty, the privacy inherent in every home, in the walls, the spiritual and physical walls of that home. Investment in each other is also investment in the walls around you both. When I say might be unpopular, but I urge you to reject the common advice to consult others. I urge you to reject the advice to seek counseling. And most certainly not from friends or family, except in the event of dire need. There is deep holiness in the sanctity of two people, and what they built together. Those things are not meant to be public. And the kibitzing of well-meaning outsiders is deeply, deeply toxic. And if you doubt me, open up TikTok. Matovu alecha means never comparing your marriage to anyone else's. Never come home and say, they do that for that person, how come you don't do it for me? Never let those words pass your lips. So this is my bracha to our incredible chassan and kala, and I'm sorry I didn't make it funnier. Don't rest on your laurels. May your chasana be the start of the rest of your life, not the end of its beginning. Don't aim for a happily ever after life. Hashem does not give us fairy tales. That's not what Jews get. Instead, look to keep growing and leveraging and overachieving. And may we all merit to delight in the incredible Bayis Ne'eman B'Yisrael that you will build together. Amen.